Welcome to Marketecture's Justify Your Existence, where we find out if early stage startups are worth justifying their existence, I guess. I'm Ari Paparo. I am here today with James O'Connor, the founder and CEO of AdBridge.ai. James, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ari.
What do you do?
So AdBridge is a creative technology company, and our vision is to help advertisers improve memorability and brand outcomes by effectively reimagining the way that ad messaging can be built into creative with contextual relevance.
Cool. Tell me about the company. How big is it? Have you taken funding? Where are you based?
It is two of us. It's myself and my co-founder. We're both based in Boston. We started a few months ago, so we're quite early stage.
Have you launched yet?
We are out in market currently.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's talk about this. Like, what does that mean, what you said? How does the product work?
So essentially, envision that you are a reader on a web-based article page. And so as you are consuming your content, you will see the little ad declaration that the below content is advertising. And it will look and feel just like your content. And it will have sort of a transitionary bit of language that directly pulls in the content of the editorial and transitions to what we build in as the pre-approved ad copy from the brand. And then followed by the logo, which is sort of the visual element that reinforces that brand's messaging.
So this is the native ad unit, I guess, if we had to classify it.
You could look at it as that. I mean, I would sort of look at it as we are re-envisioning what native is. I think native, the original intent of it was inspirational, but I think due to protocols has kind of fallen short of its original intent. And while there's a lot of good applications of native, this truly is the idea of native, which is to make advertising truly seamless into the content in which is being rendered.
Okay, but at some point it has to switch from editorial to ad. So I'm reading an article, it says ad below, and then it starts, like the article switches from tell me about the news to telling me about almost mayonnaise. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so visuals are often very helpful here, but given that this is a podcast, I wanted to kind of read out a little bit of an illustration of our technology.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So we had put a mock together for a client that we pitched that was a IT technology hardware manufacturer. And they were running a campaign that had a tagline about unlocking AI insights. And so they had sort of an image, and then overlaying the image was like an actual image of their hardware device. And so we envisioned, given this is a technology company, an IT company, a likely places they would end up advertising in with some degree of contextual relevance from a targeting perspective is a publication like TechCrunch. Mm-hmm. So we picked out a TechCrunch article that had to do with this company called Deepbrow, and it's autonomous driving technology in China. They raised $100 million. That's the context of this article. So with the AdBridge treatment, I will read some of what we call the bridge. This is transitionary language that connects the editorial to the brand messaging. And it reads, as autonomous driving technology accelerates towards mainstream adoption, Deepbrow highlights that scalable infrastructure is crucial to success. And then it transitions to the brand messaging, which then talks about achieving your data needs with flexible AI optimized and secure solutions from this technology manufacturer.
Okay, that's interesting. So how does this scale? It seems very specific.
We are starting in these web-based environments of in-article placements, which unto itself, I mean, is not necessarily a small space. Yeah. It's not comprehensive of all different types of placements on the web, of course, but it's certainly enough for us to get our foothold and sort of create our wedge in which to where we're launching. But our vision to improve creative with context is broader than just sort of these initial web-based applications of in-article placements into other kind of formats and channels.
So to do this, you need a publisher network, right? So you have publisher relations?
We're building them now, yes. We don't necessarily need them, but it will provide a better experience for advertisers.
How would you insert an ad like this if you didn't? You can't buy this ad on programmatic. It has to be seamless, right?
It does have to be a seamless experience, and we're sort of working on improving what the initial MVP is.
Yeah, right. But it would make sense that you would have sort of a stable of publishers of some kind. What are the economics like?
We are launching with a ad serving engagement model where we charge a fee where on one hand, for advertisers, we can work both in the sense of self-serve, where advertisers want to just use our JS tag, flight it in their DSP of choice, or alternatively, we'll run it on a managed service basis, which would be a more CPM model.
Right. So how would it work with the JS tag? So your ad serves on a page, and how fast you can be able to read the content and have your AI spit out an ad that fits in?
That's a good question. So we have the initial version, which it really relies on our first recognition of a page,
Right.
where we can sort of run our contextual relevance identification and understand what the article is actually talking about, and then start to generate the permutations of our creative that could be called much more faster on subsequent ad calls.
I see. Okay. Yeah, a typical model where the first time you see a page, you have to do a little more work, and then
Exactly.
you kind of know what the page is about. And you said the model was an ad serving model, so you're charging the buyer for this.
Correct.
Okay, got it. It seems like you could probably make more money if you charge the CPM model, because this is a high priced item. It should be.
Yeah, totally. We're launching
Still
with
figuring
the
it
ad
out.
serving. We're launching with the ad serving fee, but future looking, we're going to be exploring lots of different ways to go to market and
Got it. Okay,
iterate.
quick lightning round. So, what's your number one competitive advantage?
I think that we have re-envisioned the way that contextual can be extended beyond just from a targeting perspective, where contextual relevance sort of starts and dies with targeting. And we're extending that, bending the arc of how contextual relevance can be built into creative. Not to mention that from a sort of another vector, native, as I mentioned before, we're really re-envisioning how native can be built from the ground up to a truly seamless ad experience.
Yeah.
And so, that's where we're starting. And then we'll kind of build out the competitive advantage by expanding into other channels.
And why won't Google or other people crush you and just reproduce this?
Well, I think there's maybe a truism for all guests on your podcast, Ari, which is, ideas are a dime a dozen, execution is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of part number one. But part number two, we're going to be moving fast to really hone in on our product market fit with our web-based solution, and then expanding into other channels.
Great. And last, if AdBridge was an animal, what animal would it be?
Not at the expense of being unoriginal, as I think another guest on your podcast has sort of already picked this one, but I think we would be most likened to a chameleon in the sense that we are building an ad creative for brands that seamlessly integrates into the content, but in a way that's still discernible. We're not actually trying to have it deceive users into suddenly they're unclear whether it's content or advertising, but it really seamlessly fits in.
All right. Well, James O'Connor from AdBridge, thank you for justifying your existence.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks for listening. New interviews are added every week at marketecture.tv and your favorite podcasting app.
Thank you for listening to the Marketecture Podcast. New episodes come out every Friday, and an insightful vendor interview is published each Monday. You can subscribe to our library of hundreds of executive interviews at marketecture.tv. You can also sign up for free for our weekly newsletter with my original strategic insights on the week's news at news.marketecture.tv. And if you're feeling social, we operate a vibrant Slack community that you can apply to join at adtechgod.com.